So I'm Graham Dixon, it's Wednesday in the third week of June, we're here at Trench 11. So we've moved on a little bit, we've taken off almost all of the subsoil, still a little bit in that corner, and I believe we got some footage of when this sandy bank was first discovered. It covers the full extent of the trench up to this section. The peaty material seems to be overlaying it. So if what we think is true and that the peat is at least Bronze Age, because supposedly anything later than that or more recent than that has been desiccated and blown away or turned into subsoil, then that bank must be at least Bronze Age. Whether or not it's natural or anthropogenic, that's still something we need to decide, but if that peat is as old as Bronze Age and it's overlying that, then obviously that's at least Bronze Age. So first worry was it was just a dump of sand, maybe left by a farmer or something, but now that we've seen that it's being overlain by the peat, then at least that's one worry up to the back of our mind. And I don't know if you can make it out from there, but there's in this corner and again in that corner, again the peat. So it seems to be almost linear. It's got a bit of a bulge in there. To be fair, there's not really a solid shape to it. It is pretty amorphous. But now that we've got all the subsoil off and we can see it, we can see that peat continues on the other side, which I wasn't expecting because of this bank. So we're pretty much right on the edge of that bank. If there's peat material in there, then presumably peat material underneath my feet, and this is the high point. So it may be that we're just coming right up to the edge of where the peat's come up to, and then, well, there may even be a bit of peat overlaying the stone material that was in Yarney's trench in Trench 8. I might have to go and double check the records on that to see what was between subsoil and stone. I thought it was just straight down onto stone. In that case, then it will stop somewhere around here. That's pretty much it, I think. So this sand is, when it first shows up, it's quite yellow, but as it's open to the air for a little while, it kind of goes quite white, almost grey. Well, almost white, but very grey, a very much lighter colour. You might be able to see when it's freshly trailed back. It's just a bit darker. May well be the dampness in the sand, but it's not very solidified at all. It's actually been quite loose. You have to be pretty careful with it. Try and make sure you don't scrape away too much when you try back. Even pulling this loose material back, I'm having to be careful not to take away too much more of the sand. There are sort of pockets in the sand that are holding silty material inside them. Some of the silty material seems to be in and amongst the sand, and some of it is just in pockets in it. I don't know, those pockets could be formed by phytoplankton. We've seen moles all over the place here. There's sort of pockets and little rivulets through it, so it might be burrowing. And also, you can see here, just where we've removed some material just to make sure that the peaty stuff is in fact overlaying the sandy layer. It also seems that the peaty silty material is going underneath it as well. So it's built up underneath, sand's come in, it's built up over the top as well. And it's only just started to build up over the top, then the subsoil's come in and formed above that. So, go and do another quick plan. We'll get rid of this once it's all fully recorded, and we'll see what comes next. Also, something I forgot to mention before, we're seeing a layer of grey clay that's in the section here. You can see it, and it's sat on top of the sandy stuff that I'm standing on. You can see it arches around here, over there. So these stones that were sitting in the subsoil are above it, and you can see it pretty much respects the curve of these stones. It's going directly underneath. these stones, and it shows again in this corner down here. It appears to be respecting the shape of the mound below it. So how that clay has formed, not entirely certain, as I'm not entirely certain how the sand has formed. But it does appear as though that grey clay has built up over the top of that sandy pile. It does look kind of moundy, but I think that may just be that's the way that the stones have, well, they're sitting on top of an artificial sort of shape anyway, and there's a slightly thicker concentration of stones in this corner. May well be where they've just rolled down that slope. We've got a few more accumulated in that corner. If it was in trench 6, might be suspicious it's a burnt mound, because you can see one of the burnt mounds in the section over there, it does just look like a grey band of clay. You follow it round and then eventually it gets thicker and thicker and you can see it's a burnt mound really. And at a distance it does look similar to that, but having dug it, I'm pretty confident that is just, it's very fine silty grey clay. No chalk or anything like that in it. So presumably it's been waterborne deposit, but we'll look into it.